There's a local roast duck restaurant I like a lot. There's a local restaurant in this direction that sells smoked duck. You know, there's an Italian restaurant I like. There's a French restaurant I like. I mean, I go to banquets all the time. I eat banquet food all the time. It's hard to name one thing. I like the fresh vegetables and fresh fruits here in Taiwan, particularly when they're in season. I like, I still say jiaozi, dumplings. I like jiaozi. I like everything actually, pretty much.
他喜欢台湾，他喜欢中国文化，然后他其实对很多东西都有很多的深入的研究。他是蛮有学问的人，知道的事情很多，对这个台湾的社会也是蛮深入的。
其实有点讶异了，因为之前我们也跟他在吃过饭，那时候是他已经退休了。因为他偶尔在报章杂志也会看到他对台湾一些现况的一些建议啊什么的。那我觉得他其实是还真的是蛮喜欢这块土地的。
I think I've been here maybe the longest, and so people always seem surprised. But the other thing is, Taiwanese always underestimate. That's why I wrote the article, Learning to Appreciate a Modern Miracle. People aren't proud enough of Taiwan. Taiwan is top of the charts in terms of nice places for foreigners to live. Taipei in particular is a very approachable city. When I took over the job, I was very excited about it. I knew it was likely going to be my last post, my last 3 years in the Foreign Service, because I would be retired because of my age. And so I saw it as a wonderful opportunity because there were clear things that needed to be accomplished. But probably the biggest accomplishment I had was that I helped was the visa waiver program. Because even though they waited until after I left to actually U.S. government announced it, Taiwan had already been a candidate. And I did it in all honesty. I've always told people this. It was the Taiwanese people who achieved it. I just had to make Washington aware that, and constantly call their attention to the fact that there weren't very many people, hardly any, who were overstaying their visas. I've spent 10 years now continuously in Taiwan, but I spent 10 months here studying at Yangmingshan between 86 and 87. And I left in June of 87, just a month before martial law was lifted. So actually my impression of Taiwan at that time wasn't all that positive. And when it rained, a lot of the streets flooded. There was no underground metro. So, and it was a poorer place in general. I mean, the way people dressed and so forth. This was probably in between 2006 and 2009. And I saw how much improved the airport was from the way I remembered it. So I already knew it had been transformed, but I really was kind of shocked when I actually got here and saw how much it had changed, that it was a much greener place. It was a much more cosmopolitan place. It now had, fashion designer stores. It had French and Italian restaurants. And in general, it was, it had the metro. It had the high-speed rail. It just was a more developed, modern place. I knew Taiwan would be different, but I didn't realize how much it would change. And that's happened even more over the last 10 years. I could have gone back to Washington and gotten some kind of a teaching position or even more, maybe be a lobbyist. But during my time at AIT, I developed a commitment, sort of a feeling that I should try to be more helpful to Taiwan, and that in being helpful, it would give more meaning to my life than going back and making money as a lobbyist, where usually they kick you out after a couple of years when they get your contacts and they know what you know, and they don't need you anymore. And above all, people are really friendly here. And you know, there's a video that a Taiwanese American made that's on YouTube someplace where a young Taiwanese American has a test. She speaks Chinese, but she goes around the city and films it and pretends that she doesn't speak anything but English. And she talks to in a subway, she asks for directions from the manager, the guy who sits in the booth. She goes into a restaurant and tries to order bubble tea without speaking. Hell, if I go to a Chinese restaurant in the United States, in Washington, and I try to practice my Chinese, they don't want to bother with me. Yeah, what do you want? You know, it's just so Taiwan's not like that. So people need to appreciate that. And I've met some people who are really working in areas I barely understand, but are really unique. I mean, nanomedicine, I barely understand what that means. But also computer diagnostics are making great advances. I hope it'll be the last school I move to while I'm in Taiwan, you know, because I am happy there. And you know, as long as I have something to offer Taiwanese students, I'm happy to go on teaching. You know, I'm getting older. I have a lot of energy for somebody as old as I am, but you know, I think one of the things that helps you live longer is having a sense of purpose. You know, and having something you have to do and want to do and need to do, rather than just, you know, I could move to Hawaii, get an apartment and go to the beach every day. As I said, I don't plan to leave Taiwan. If I did, I'm not sure where I would go now.